100 girlfriends, now that is ambitious. With a title like that, a guy's gotta ponder the question of how one man is able to champion a periodically sized harem of 100. Is it bribery? Threats? A loophole? Is it just a joke? Or perhaps it's just a quirky title with an impossibly out-of-reach goal? Nope. Rentaro Aijo is just simply him. But everyone has their humble beginnings, don't they? Just as the story began, our main character had just gone through his 100th rejection in a row, and soon ranted to good friend A about the occasion. What seemed like a man truly fated for loneliness then approached a shrine to pray that his high school days not continue this perilous pattern of unpopularity. And here he met the god of love. The god revealed to him that his high school days and beyond will be overflowing with girlfriend potential. Reason being, he accidentally added a couple zeros to Rentaro's soulmate count upon becoming distracted by Castle in the Sky on the TV. So he's just gotta choose one and be done, right? Only if he doesn't choose one, or rather the other 99, they will be fated to an early death. Anyway, first day of high school rolls around and our boy did the old harem stumble right into the now iconic duo of HAKARI and KARANE. At that very moment, the three knew that love was in the air as the proverbial shock coursed through their bodies. Immediately down bad, the two girls, after overhearing some gossip, dashed away to search for a four-leaf clover, which, when presented alongside a confession of love, would supposedly result in a definitive yes. Unfortunately, they spent the entire school day here, yet to no avail. Later, Aijo found them in that very same position. Then, one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, HAKARI had confessed her feelings. And soon, KARANE did as well. Things were moving fast. Maybe too fast for Rentaro, who was now forced to decide who to be the love of his life and who to send to their inevitable slaughter. Splits with indecision all nights and morning, Rentaro Aijo had made up his mind. We all know where this is going. It's both. And so, the beginning of his 100-count harem began. The next day, on lunch break, the elephant in the room was brought up. That of who gets dibs on Rentaro's first kiss. After our boy's confusing and convoluted plan for fairness was established, attempted, and aborted, the three finally landed on something that might just work, a three-way kiss. Which may have been KARANE and HAKARI's lesbian awakening in some form. Next, it was time for episode 3, meaning it was time for Shizuka, the mute school librarian who I theorize may be on the spectrum to some degree, who only communicates through sentences of her favorite novel, which she's memorized like the back of her hand. She instantly caught feelings for Rentaro, but noticed the obvious girls he already seemed to have, so she sorrowfully backed off, recalling her traumatizing past. An emotionally abusive mother and bullies for classmates who assaulted her with piercing words demanding her to be normal. Nobody wants to talk to a freak like her, is what she thought, until Rentaro came to see her after school hours to show her what he'd been working on in the past couple days. A digital transcription he'd done word by word of that favorite novel I mentioned earlier, alongside a special app with text-to-speech. He did this so she could look people in the eyes while talking to them. In that moment, a confession of love was professed and the rest is history. The third girl had joined the harem. Not all was right though, as Shizuka still wasn't comfortable around the others. Her lack of self-indulgence was made clear to Rentaro in a tickling punishment game meant to break the ice, where she instead only but poked him a few times. KARANE noticed this as well. Perfect. Now Rentaro's scheme to leave them and let them resolve it themselves was in motion. Immediately, KARANE erupted into a fuss, denouncing Shizuka for holding back while explaining they're all equals now and there's no reason to deny her true feelings. With some help from HAKARI to convince her, Shizuka's fears of disrupting the group's dynamic because of her not living up to the imaginary standards she thought Rentaro held were crushed. Next up, sometime later, the spark of soulmates would yet again strike between Aijo and AI Nano, the girl whose test results and personality seemed to resemble that of a robot rather than a human. Until this fateful day, of course. After the first time, probably, going against her entire persona, would she disinfect Rentaro's finger by sucking on it. In the middle of class, she is a freak. And then, after class, she'd completely shut out Rentaro's idea that fun has any value in life, causing our boy to become disheartened and begin wondering if she truly is one of his 100 soulmates. On the other hand, opposed to her outward persona, later that night she realized how down bad for this guy she had truly become. The next day, in her quest for utmost efficiency, she attempted to reject him. Through a turn of events, though, she ended up agreeing to go on a date and let him have this one chance to convince her otherwise to hopefully accept his feelings of love he also had developed. The date location? A theme park. Did our boy succeed? Yes, though it was difficult, only with a threat to burn that day's memories, which she finally realized how important these moments were. After aggressively extinguishing the flame, she realized her ideology had been utterly shattered. Nano had fun today, and she valued that fun. Girlfriend count? 4. The all-too inevitable pool episode was next. Footnotes: Rentaro dies, Shizuka becomes a castaway and was forced to cry out with her own voice to get her boyfriend to save her, Rentaro revives, and Rentaro helped KARANE out with her chest-size insecurities. Returning back to school, it was girlfriend 5 time. In a rush, Rentaro happened to witness a red-haired busty maiden and felt the all-too-familiar badump. I wish we had a timeline for how frequent this happens. Does this whole series only happen in the span of a week? Is it more of a month? I don't even know, and I'm very curious. Anyway, because of this, later on, Aijo visited the chemistry lab but stumbled upon a red-haired child instead. She immediately drugged him up with a magnet medicine, then laced his tea with a straight-up love potion, which Rentaro hated the idea of course. He tried puking it out before convulsing, so Kusuri reversed it with a neutralizer administered through mouth-to-mouth. Here's the thing though, Rentaro questioned why she'd still be so mind-bogglingly cute after the drug had been neutralized, and then soon realized why. This girl, who also happened to be the third-year president and only member of the Chem Club, had failed an immortality experiment in the past which made her small for life, only temporarily reversed by her neutralizing medicine for an hour. In any case, Girlfriend 5 had been achieved. As an introductory gift, the child gave the high schoolers tons of drugs to experiment with. What? Following those shenanigans, it was time for lunch. Kusuri made everyone tea. Yeah, I don't know why anyone still trusts this woman's tea. And they're drinking it. All right. Lo and behold, it was poisoned. Not poisoned, drugged. Besides Kusuri, who was new, so she didn't quite get the whole best man to ever exist thing quite yet, the girls all drank the uncontrollable urge to kiss lover medicine, which was meant for Rentaro. And the best, worst part, it works way more effectively for women. Y'all ready for the worst zombies ever? Oh yeah, they should probably hurry and get to the chem lab for that neutralizer, because if they're like this for long, they never revert back and will exist as mindless, lustful husks for the rest of their lives. Oh shit, that didn't stop things from getting frisky more than once. Everyone had their way with Rentaro, and more so HAKARI and KARANE with each other. Soon enough though, the reversal medicine was achieved and the day was saved. Everyone's memories of the events were still intact though, so those two agreed to keep that Yuri moment a secret. A self-loathing, teary-eyed Kusuri made it clear she never used any drugs again and felt incredibly guilty for the whole ordeal. A Kusuri who'd driven all of the previous chemistry club members away because of situations similar to the one at hand. But of course, Chadtaro promised her it's fine to continue indulging in her favorite hobby since they'll just fix whatever mess comes about like they did today. Resident Hazard Kissage? Survived. Coming around to that final arc now, while out at the park, HAKARI broke up with Rentaro, who obviously figures something is up. Turns out her mother, HAHARI Hanazono, at last found out about her daughter's boyfriend being a 5-timer, and immediately had her break up with him and transfer schools. Yeah, honestly, I can't even hate HAHARI here. That is a completely understandable reaction. Just hearing about Rentaro, he definitely sounds like a complete dick. In any case, Operation Save HAKARI was in motion. After successfully evading their countless security guards, their dog and cats, and a Mission Impossible infrared laser hallway, the only thing left to do was opening HAKARI's door, which of course resulted in an alarm being set off and the intruders being caught. Brought into the living room, KARANE and Rentaro were thus interrogated by HAHARI. Here the mother would explain her past. At the age of just 13, her lover fell deathly ill, so she risked artificial insemination in only middle school. During her term, her lover did pass away, and as she continued to raise HAKARI, a chronic question always remained in her subconscious. Is this truly the life of joy she wanted for herself? So to avoid similar regret bubbling in her daughter, she enacted this plan. Rentaro, who was brought to tears by HAHARI's depressing tale, soon had the blinding eye drops from Kusuri washed away. So the two finally made eye contact for the first time, and holy shit, it's another soulmate. And instantly, straight out of left field, HAHARI Hanazono confessed to her daughter's boyfriend. Oh, this show is amazing. We need to first confirm if Rentaro's love for her daughter was true with some lie detecting. Meanwhile, a left on her own HAKARI got in her own head, and soon considered a deadly jump from the window so as not to burden Rentaro any further. With KARANE's help, a threat of actual murder, Rentaro was able to escape to save HAKARI. He reaffirmed her waning beliefs that a life without the two of them would be the worst possible outcome. Then, finally coming to her senses, her adrenaline wore off and she tripped, forcing Rentaro to dive after her, and the two were then falling to their doom. Luckily, Rentaro's an athlete and their fountain doubles as a diving pool. Apparently. I guess that's a rich person thing. Deep fountains. Okay. I don't doubt it. This stunt doubled as more proof than HAHARI could ever need. So she entrusted her daughter to him. Meanwhile, that wasn't all Rentaro had in mind. With all the chaos having died down from earlier, Rentaro finally and officially accepted her confession from earlier. MILF achieved! At last, the Rentaro family sleepover party began. This included, but was not limited to, dress up, cards, cross-dressing, peeping, Shizuka seeing Rentaro's dick, and HAHARI and Rentaro visiting the shrine of HAKARI's father. Her love was conflicted. Thankfully, the Rentaro Aijo was here, who explained retaining her love from her previous partner while also accepting his is completely fine. I mean, he is the guy with 6 girlfriends who really love him. I had to fit the title in somewhere. As long as it feels real, then that's all that matters. And here, HAHARI indulged in her first kiss. A kiss her previous lover had saved for someone who'd never leave her, with Aijo Rentaro. That night, he met the ghost of HAHARI's previous lover, whose spirit was at last no longer bound to this earth, and was able to move on upon witnessing our main character in action today. And finally, HAKARI and KARANE French kiss the shit out of each other in their dreams. I guess I'm ending on that, huh? If you like this video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Comment any thoughts or opinions you have on 100 Girlfriends. And don't forget to stay trash. Peace! By the way, the best girl is Shizuka or Nano. I can't choose. I can't choose!